So the other day, me and the Lewis Vlogs one went camping together. Wild camping, to be precise. It's a long time hobby of mine. Lewis has done a fair bit of camping of his own, very similar fashion, you know, wild camping, not going to a campsite and lights out before a certain time and no music. You know, very much the way you're meant to camp is the way we prefer to do it. Just get out there and get it done. Oh, double trouble. And we decided to go together because it'd be a buzz. Because we are, as we've stated, very like-minded people. We both enjoy a good camping experience, and it's good times. So here's what happened. It's a bit of an embarrassing story, and for me, not for him. I mean, he looked like a golden god for it all. He came out of it very well. I ended up having a bit of a rough time. So I'm going to talk you through the events as they happened. On the way up there, driving down the A55, there'd been an accident, so they coned off. It was very strange. They sent us into one lane and then changed the lane again to go around the accident. So we were held in one lane, then they let us into the other lane, then they let us back into the original lane again. It was really weird. There's no need for that original holding cell, if you will. So as we're going down this coned off lane, if you will, I'll be honest, I was rubbernecking a bit looking at the accident as it happened, and it's quite funny really. I drove into a cone. The lanes weren't clearly marked out. This is my defence. Other than the fact that I was rubbernecking, there was no like clear, you know how they normally like line up 3 cones in a row in a diagonal across your lane to tell you that you're changing lanes. They hadn't done any of that. It was basically just a gap in the cones and a sign about 100 yards away from the gap saying change lane. So you're like, what the fuck, where's the gap, oh shit, there it is. So anyway, come to that point, I just drove straight into a fucking cone because I couldn't see properly. So that was incident number 1. So then we get up there, we park up and we start walking up the mountain to go to our little spot, pre-arranged and everything. We get up to near enough where we want to be, and we find out that it isn't so easy to get to the area we wanted to get to. It's a bit of a off the beaten track kind of walk. So we're going through all the thickest trees and densest undergrowth. We get down to the side of the lake that we want to camp next to. As far as we're aware, it's going to be really good camping on the other side of this lake. It's a bit private, which it was, but we're going around the edge of the lake and we run into some bog. Okay now. And Lewis starts to sink in, which causes him to then stop walking. Which of course, I stop moving, meaning I start sinking. Now Lewis is wearing his Wellington boots, so he basically just yanks his foot out of the mud and pushes on. I don't have such luck. Basically, due to the weight of my pack, I just sink in up to my knees, and then I fall on my ass. So, mental image, dirty, muddy, horrible stuff, me sunken in until my knees, one arm going in as well, my backpack's resting on the mud, I'm in a right state. In the process of Lewis turning around to try and help me, I try and pull my foot out to get some balance, I fall over, and I lose a shoe. So keep that image. I've got now only one shoe on, one shoe is deep in the mud, which pictures will hopefully be flashing up at this point because I have taken them off and kept them. So Lewis took all the photos, I didn't do many while we were on the trip, but hopefully Lewis, hopefully they're not too blurry for you. Oh come on love, fucking 30. and basically Lewis has to go back and get my shoe for me, because I literally hobble with one shoe on to the edge of the mud. So now I'm completely caked in mud, and it's not just mud, it's more water than mud. So it's gone through everything. I mean, it's in my wallet, it's all over my pockets. I'm literally coated in this thick, brown, icky shite. And I gotta spend the next 12 to 24 hours in this gear. So I'm like, oh, that's marvellous. So to try and wash myself off, I take a nice stroll into the nearby lake. Dip my shoes and whatnot. You know, because they're so caked in mud, it's gone through the fabric. It's now inside the shoe. It's a right fucking mess, I can tell you. You'll see the pictures. So we get to the spot we wanted to get to. We realise that it's not going to be as good a camp as we were hoping. Plan B comes into effect. We decide we're going to have to move on and find somewhere else. But we look at the situation. There isn't many other places to go, and it's getting a bit late in the day. By which point it was getting on for like about 3 o'clock-ish because of the dense undergrowth we'd had to go crawling through. We find a spot. It's not ideal, but we do find a spot that's livable. So we rig up a quick shelter and start prepping for a fire so we can cook our meal. You know, camping shit. Come to the conclusion that we're going to have to try and dry our shoes up. Not my shoes, because obviously I'm the only one who fucking got wet. Dickhead. So I've got no shoes and no socks because they're fucked. I got spare socks with me but no spare shoes. This is when I had to get creative. While my shoes were drying, I had to make my own footwear out of pieces of tarp and string. Very creative, if I don't say so myself. I called them my water-begone booties, and they worked very well, I can tell you, because it was the early morning when I well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Alright, so I've got my water-begone booties that I made myself. The fire is going along quite happily. We had tea, it was nice, we had a beer with it. A little while after we'd eaten, I went to check on my shoes, and one of them had melted. Insert picture of slowly melted shoe. And get this, although they'd gotten hot enough to melt, they hadn't got hot enough to dry. So that was a bit of a ball ache. So they were still soaking wet, and they were slowly melting away. Bit of a piss take, but never mind. So we decide, right, that's enough for tonight, let's just get our heads down. It's been a bit of a rough day, and we go to sleep. Now, roll on about 11, half 11 at night. I didn't check my phone because I couldn't be bothered, but I know it was about that time. I woke up with a really fucked up neck, like my neck, my head. I was in agony. I couldn't think, it was so painful. So obviously I woke Lewis to let him know I was stepping outside for a moment because I was a bit fucked up from the way I'd been sleeping. And I then vomited. Now bear in mind, I had spaghetti, small sausages and Spam for my food. Now I don't know if any of you have ever had Spam come out of your nose while you've been vomiting. It's not pleasant. It's one of them experiences in life that makes you just go, what the fuck am I doing? But I vomited profusely. Now Lewis has told me that I was too close to the epicenter of what was going on. I couldn't hear the echo in the valley of me vomiting, and it wasn't just one of them. It wasn't a little gurgle. According to TLV1, the Lewis Vlogs one, or Louis, little Lewis says that it was horrid. It was and other such sounds, but very loud. And he said many times that if he'd not known it was me doing it, he'd probably have shat himself, which is understandable. So anyway, I puke up everywhere. My body just goes into complete meltdown. I'm like, ugh, I feel like shit. Climb back under our shelter, and I'm just kind of sitting there going, what the fuck has gone on here? Some painkillers and meds from Louis' health kit, and tried to get some sleep after that. Now, I don't know what was in the meds that Louis gave me. Maybe it was date rape. I'm hoping it was. But I went to sleep very quickly after that. I had some water and a little nibble, and then went back to sleep. And in the time where I was asleep, our shelter caught fire. Because the candle Lewis had lit while I was trying to get back to sleep, he'd left lit, and he woke up because it had set stuff on fire. So our shelter was burning to the ground, and Lewis had to put it out with his water. Now this is very amusing because I didn't wake up through any of this. I just woke up in the morning to find the hole in the ground where our shelter was nearly burnt down, which I think is fucking hilarious. So obviously it was a good night. That's really it. We trekked out in the morning. Obviously I felt like crap, but I couldn't believe it. It was just one of them evenings where what could go wrong did go wrong. For me, a lot. It's fucking hilarious. I can laugh about it now, but at the time I felt like shite. Oh, back to the water begone booties. Yeah. After throwing up, I thought, right, I better go for a piss. And while I was taking a leak, I accidentally pissed on my own foot. I wasn't all there, come on, I was having a bit of a shit night. And I managed to piss on my own foot. But luckily, my self-made tarp shoes let it just run straight off, which earned them the name the Water Begone Booties. Oh, the fucking night though.